Are you a cannabis grower who knows what they're doing? Are you looking for a one-stop shop for all things cannabis lighting? Then check out DutchLightingInnovations.com. On our website, you can learn more about our newest UV technology, which allows us to grow stronger, even better terpene profiles while reducing microbial growth. DutchLightingInnovations.com has all your lighting needs, from HPS to CMH to LED and UV. Lights of the highest quality for growers who know what they're doing. Designed, engineered, and made in Holland. Your one-stop shop for all things cannabis, DutchLightingInnovations.com. You can learn more about our newest UV technology. At DLI, we have decades in experience in both commercial and hobby horticulture. As a result, our engineers have developed a brand new range of horticultural lighting products that combine with the tried and tested manufacturing techniques of the existing commercial lighting products with a modern manufacturing process. As a result, we've created a comprehensive line of horticultural lighting products that are designed to enhance user experience and produce better results. That's DutchLightingInnovations.com.
All throughout history, the term stoner has been used a lot. In common usage, it refers to the guilty, the derelict, and the unsavory. The Oxford Dictionary redefines stoned as a state where you have lost your ability to behave or think normally caused by a drug like marijuana or alcohol. I find that to be unacceptable. Welcome to the Daily Chronicles. Here we talk to different types of stoners from all walks of life. So roll up, load up your bongs, ready up that dab, and tune in as we speak the truth about the stigma. This is the Daily Chronicles.
What's going on, my tokers, jokers, and smokers? Welcome back to another edition of the Daily Chronicles, y'all. Today in the house. Okay, today, if you didn't know before, you're about to fucking find out, okay? I've got true social equity in cannabis. Weed the people in the motherfucking house. Anna Rose, my head, what's up?
What's happening?
What's going on, y'all? Listen, absolutely fucking insane to have you motherfuckers on this show. I say that in the best possible way. You know this.
Yeah.
But the fact is, y'all know, let's back up. I'm so excited to have you on. I'm a huge fan of what you do. Huge fan of just creating the standing against all in opposition of just, you know, weed for the people and just social equity as it fucking should be to begin with. You know what I'm saying? Fighting for what's right, not what makes another person another dollar, right? Y'all came to Michigan. Y'all came to the Capitol twice in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Twice.
Yeah.
I had the chance to meet you there. I was so blessed to stand next to you. Now, let's let them know. Less people. Oh damn! I can't even. I'm so tongue tied right now. I got a fangirl. I'm sorry. This is. It blows my mind because when you think back to all of those who came before us, people that literally have put their lives in the lines as protesters, you know, and literally bled and died over shit like this. Okay, that puts them. That makes them. It solidifies them in history. Okay. They become iconic. But what happens when you have living legends standing next to you? I'm serious. That's the way I look at it. And so it's living in the moment. But my point is, it takes fucking balls to do what you do. And there's a lot of fucking guys out there that can't say the same shit. You feel me? That's my point. Ovaries. I'm sorry. Round is round, you know, okay. But you get my point. You know, I want to see more people out doing what you're doing, and you're trailblazing the fucking way. Like, seriously, I commend the hell out of that.
I mean, thank you for what you do too. Like, we all have to do our part in this because we're fighting the machine that wants to take us, we the people, down. So yeah, thank you for having us on and sharing us on your platform, and hopefully we'll inspire some more people to boycott corporate cannabis
and use their voice so that they can make sure that wherever that they are currently, you know, that their voices are lifted to the injustices that are happening around them, because ultimately what it's about. This isn't something that we really sought out to do. It was just something that we were called to do because we just were fed up with the bullshit and the smoke and mirrors, and you know, the universe has aligned us with like-minded individuals like yourself that are also out here trailblazing in the space as well. So we're glad to, again, as she said, be on your show, and just first off, just to get to know you, because you're a cool motherfucker too.
Yeah. I appreciate it. Yeah, I owe you a coffee. I owe you all a coffee. I know that. I appreciate that.
Well, I don't drink coffee.
Yeah. Sorry. Well, I had coffee. They purchased me a coffee at an amazing place here in Lansing. It was really funny because, like, I got a text from a bunch of people that work there, like, yo, did you come in yesterday? I was like, yeah. They're like, you didn't say anything? I was like, I was busy. And that was the truth. I was like, I was busy. Had I seen you, it ends of story. Anyways, hey, what's up, guys? Right?
I had a feeling you were an OG there and everybody knew you.
I know they know of me. Let's put it there. I didn't work there, but I worked with people who currently work there, and that's kind of, you know, people talk in the industry.
Of course. Yeah.
Going back to the industry,
everybody talks.
I have a quick question for you though, because we just got done with our election process here in Illinois, which wasn't too happy about. I felt a whole lot of different ways about it, but I'm very curious as to how things played out there in Michigan.
Not the person to ask. I'm not gonna lie to you. All right, so love y'all. All right, and I will go with the person who's doing the right thing. But as far as when it comes to politics, I'm sort of an anarchist. Don't really, you know. However,
I voted Libertarian and Green Party this last time, and I'm fucking proud of it because the options for Democrat and Republican are both bullshit. Although I did help this guy Han Win run for state representative, and he won by 90%. So
okay.
Yeah. So I mean, that's a lot better than the I'm hearing that a candidate won by a landslide, a Democratic candidate won by a landslide. I think it's in Pennsylvania, and the guy's dead. He died a month ago.
The fuck?
That's what I heard somewhere. I need to cite that, but that's something that I'm seeing pop up, and I'm like, the fuck is even? So there's a recount scheduled for a later date. I'm like,
doesn't say how fucked up our system is, I don't know what else does.
Exactly. However, I can tell you something that I am fucking proud about that I did pay attention to. That's Prop 3 here in Michigan. That's the abortion clause, and motherfucker passed.
And so
that's a good thing. That means women can make the fucking choice. Nice. And they can't get, if you're in the state of Michigan.
Already in Illinois, but y'all didn't have it in Michigan?
I'm not sure. I can't comment on that.
If Philip could have joined us for this, he would have known all of this shit.
Oh, yeah.
Keep up
until
with.
we meet Phil, right? You
know that's part of the problem. That's by design. They make it that way by design so that people are, number one, confused. Number two, really have no idea what's on the table or what these different individuals stand for, or what that they've done in their previous lineage of being in politics, or just in that community area. And that's by design, so that, you know, people just go with the lesser evil, as what we continue to hear over and over and over again. And I'm so tired of that statement.
Yeah, I got a text from someone about the election in Illinois, how like 3 or 4 people that are state reps that just got elected are like being looked at by the FBI and like involved with the whole Madigan scandal, et cetera, et cetera. So like someone that passed that got elected, and then people that are being potentially indicted and looked at like being elected. It's like, this is where we're at now, y'all. Maybe we should like completely revamp, which is what we the people started as. We the people, we need us to run for office. Now, I don't mean like us, but like we need people that are interested.
Community involved individuals that care about the environment, that care about the schools, that care about the children, that care about the resources that go to these communities, right? We definitely need more people that are willing to be courageous enough to say, we know the system is fucked up, but what are we going to do about it in order for us to create a new system or a different system or an alternative system that we can actually support and have faith in and trust in that we're making progress in our country. We don't have that right now.
Exactly.
So a lot of people turn up to the votes.
You're right. And so it goes certain ways, but more to your point, Vi, if you don't mind. For example, let me back up. There's a need for what you do. Duh. If there was a need for it and there wasn't something there that adhered to that need, that fixed it like a tool or something.
That we do though, because
hang on. Let me get there. You created it. That's my point. You made it with your hands. You're like, someone needs to do something, so you stepped up. In the kitchen, if you don't have a specific tool, you make it. You do what you got to do to make it. That's what I'm getting to, okay? Sure. With that being said, what you're saying with the laws and the bylaws and things like that, if they don't exist, fucking make them. You can pretend that inflation is real. I mean, let's talk about that. You know,
or global warming.
Exactly. I mean, but that is real.
The fact is, in Illinois in November, like something's going on. The thing is, like,
what the fuck is going on? I know it's 75 degrees here. What the hell? Sorry.
Is it there too? It's crazy.
It's crazy. It's crazy. But, so we were at an event yesterday at DePaul Business School. They have a program that they're starting. Not pitching their program. I think programs are rackets. But like they did this panel with a whole bunch of different people. One person that we know, Dom, who was an applicant in Illinois and won a license with an MSO. And then also Toy Hutchinson, who used to be the cannabis czar of Illinois. Some other cool people and some other people that I don't know that are like have licenses in New Mexico, which I learned some stuff about that I did not know about New Mexico, which was interesting. But we went really to be like, okay, what the fuck are they going to say? Like, what is this going to be propaganda? Is this going to be like just people trying to get into the industry?
And the reason why is because the whole point of that conversation was about social equity and pretty much the lack thereof, and where can we go from here, right? And unfortunately, and they were talking to students on how it is that, you know, they can look to this industry. Unfortunately, there's a lot that doesn't get identified, talked about, held accountable, or even just made aware when we're talking about the industry. And I do that with end quotes, because the industry has been propagandized. I don't know if that's a word, but I'm going to use it. In a way that everyone is only concerned about cultivation, transportation, or infusion. And the actual industry is so much grander than that. And it's those three things, unfortunately, that has been made by design to continue to pit everyone against each other for a fucking piece of paper called a license.
That's a rat race.
You need to have in order to have a legal business. In my opinion.
And it ended, agree. And it ended with something that we didn't get to address that you and I disagree with often, that like everyone, if you can't get in right now, you should be working on your branding. You should be branding,
anti-brand,
branding your image. And it's like, because it's fucking dumb, because like it's just about money and it's just about consumerism. And I personally I fucking hate consumerism. I am married to someone who is a consumer. I have lots of friends that are consumers, and you know, I benefit from their consumerism, so I have to acknowledge that
vicariously, if you will.
But the thing is, you say that, but I think it's the misappropriation of that term and that word, right?
Okay, so let's create one. You're a vicarious capitalist, then.
Well, the thing is that if you have a business that you're marketing, regardless if it's a word of mouth market, or if you're tangibly utilizing the social media or marketing materials in old school days with flyers and all that stuff, that's branding. That's exactly what that is.
I know. I've run a theater company for 10 plus years. Like, I know what branding is. I've worked marketing.
You do it every day.
Social equity and cannabis. Like, it's just a fucking racket like everything else. And this is my thing. Like, rackets right now are set up to fail us as people. if we can set up the racket to make it look like if we could set it up so it actually fucking does the things that we need to do to make our society better and change our trajectory of the world ending. Okay. Because as we were talking about earlier, like I feel like y'all are just like,
no, I'm just not trying to spill. Remember back in the green room, I spilled all that weed on my laptop? I'm not doing that again.
Oh no, I'm trying to roll.
I'm sorry.
So
I'm listening to you. So
I'm just trying to roll.
I'm just like the frantic one that's being like, the world is ending, and y'all are like,
we gonna smoke first. See,
I already smoked a joint. So
you're ready for it then. You ready for it?
Yeah, I'm just like, I get into fighting mode and then I see like red and then I just start like talking and yelling and I don't know where I'm at my levels yet. Like what is it?
It's better than being a ginger and turning red at every little emotion though. Happy, red. Sad, red. Drunk, red. High, red. There's no other color.
Inspired, red.
Okay, so I remember what I was getting at earlier about the event that we went to.
Okay.
And like other people running and to try to fix things is like the people that ran things ran away from doing the things because they don't know how to fix it. You know.
Right.
And I even told Toy Hutchinson yesterday. I said, I feel like you abandoned us.
In
like
Illinois.
Okay, what'd you say, Maya?
I said in Illinois.
In Illinois. Yeah.
People who are not listening, no, yeah.
Yeah, in Illinois, because she used to be the cannabis czar of Illinois and was a state senator before that, and changed to be the cannabis czar. And then she got taken away from Illinois by, a larger lobbying activist nonprofit group that is more federal now. And it's just like, I didn't really like what you were doing while you were here anyway, but then you left us and we literally have no one who's focused on this, who's trying.
So much so that our politicians have actually said to us, this is not important on our ballot this year. Cannabis is not our focus. Because there's so many other things that need to be the focus. Unfortunately, that is still the focus. And when you have other organizations and other groups that are solely focused in a very single pointed trajectory of a license, it leaves out the rest of the people that are actually being left out and affected by the bullshit and the corruption and the monopolization and the criminalization that's still happening currently, whether you're legalized, decriminalized, or have a license, it's all still happening.
Right. And there are groups that, like she was talking about, that are solely focused on, they got licenses and they're trying to get open, and the state promised them money that they're not giving them, and so they can't open. And so all these deadlines are coming up where they owe money to the state, but they haven't been operational, et cetera. And they're looking for like more
relief because it's also fucked up. They shouldn't have to deal with that.
Right.
Unfortunately.
And they went to
a rewind from the beginning to actually get it correct the first time. It's a lot harder to undo things. And, it was said from on the panel that we just had to throw something out there just to get something out there. I'm not a fan of just putting bullshit on a wall and calling it art.
And seeing what sticks. Jackson Pollock was great, but that's fucked up.
That's why we're here. And then you leave it to the other people, the community, or the
why hasn't it been done before? Okay, so hear me out. In generations before us, it doesn't matter who the fuck they were, but all of those activists fought, bled, died, sacrificed. You get the idea. Why isn't there anything even mentioned? There's no kind of studies, but y'all had the fucking patents the whole time. There's no kinds.
Thank you for saying that.
You know what I'm saying? So there's so much bullshit on your side. Why don't you start listening to the fucking people? Because we live in a quote unquote democratic society. We voted you in. We can vote you the fuck out. Okay. So weed the people, motherfuckers. More weed, less greed. End of story. Now,
Period.
all of these people, you know, doing this, it's not even that bad on a state level. Like, do you think the state's bad? I found out about a company federally who goes into each state, all right, drops cash injection for startup capital, and then has ridiculous terms that, let's face it, they can't meet, okay? Then, if that wasn't predatory enough, when they default, that company now is an MSO technically.
Yep.
Because they have everything they fucking need. That's my point.
Including the IPO.
Everything.
But including the IP.
How is that not A, a monopolization and attempt thereof? B, how is that not entrapment on any goddamn level? C, how is that not fucking predatory? And E, wherever letter we're at, D at this point. And the point is, why would people go, hey, that's a brilliant idea? Listen, the way that I was brought up, if you can't afford it, don't spend it. If you can't make it back, don't spend it. You know what I'm saying? That's the idea, you know? I never lived in a lavish house or anything, but you've got people taking $50-60 million to start up. These people will blow through this shit, no ROI or anything. You see what I'm saying? And say, oh, these are our projections. Well, your projections are fucking wrong.
That's one of the reasons why we started speaking up too, is because of the predatory stuff going on. Like, Vi has her own story that she can tell all about that. My group, we put in $110,000, all of our savings. And we were, you know, $80K to a lawyer. This was a lawyer that I know as well. So like, we were quoted $250,000 to help write.
Hell no.
Because it was like writing a dissertation, or at least like that's how it was presented that it had to be. And then we had like a consultant for $10K from California. We were told if we didn't have some kind of like professional consultant with like creds on our application, then we wouldn't get shit. And we were our own team, the 5 of us women, like we owned everything. But like, so our situation wasn't as predatory as what you're talking about, but like there are still the lawyers and the consultants that you just paid a few $1,000s. Like, that's what I'm saying. It's fucking racket. Don't do the racket.
And they're all in each other's fucking pockets.
Oh, exactly. Every single one of them. Every single one of them. And you'll notice that there's a I'm talking to Cole later next week, so let me just put it that way. Cole and I are going to talk about the MCMA here in Michigan. The MCMA, for those who don't know, anybody watching this motherfucking show definitely should know, but it's the Michigan Cannabis Manufacturers Association. Yeah, I don't really have anything nice to say about them, so I'm just going to skip to what I want to say. Just fuck them. They don't care about patients, flat out. I don't give a shit what propaganda they use to try and get you to entice this and believe that. And they don't give a flying fuck, because it's all about money. All right. Now, it's interesting enough. The company that I had mentioned earlier, the company from, you know, on the federal level, actually has a couple of these companies in their back pocket. Now, they're used to playing all this racket. They're used to paying off politicians to move certain benefits. And it's just so happens that the bills passing at the House here in the state of Michigan are exactly what you want to happen anyway. So the language there, if you look at it, their alarm bells are motherfucking ringing here, y'all.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So there's patience and then there's profits.
Yep.
To them,
that's
at
old.
least.
I'm sorry. That's old news.
Yeah, sorry, but you get the point.
Yeah.
It's fucked.
Yeah,
but that's one of the reasons why
it's all come together and do it.
Well, and one of the reasons why it continues to have a slow progress is because it's not enough of us out there in unison together, making sure that we're telling each other, yo, you know what happened over here? Don't let that happen over there. Yo, you might want to look out for this. And then actually having them listen so that they can be able to see forward before the actions happen and kind of fight against it in a very, what am I trying to say? Offensive versus defensive. Because right now we as a community and as a people, we're retaliating against, we're reacting against. We're not on the offensive side. Well, yet, let me clarify that. Yet, we haven't demonstrated that on an offensive side where, yo, we know the system, we're using the system, and we got one up on you in that system.
I think
and you can't do anything about it.
I think we have been doing that by what we've been doing, and we just don't have their money.
Y'all just get your Instagram account back. You're doing something right.
Well, thank you for recognizing that they did quiet us up. And it's only going to get worse for them, because at this point, we're actually looking to possibly go to Vegas next week and really bring awareness to not support these fucking corporate corrupt ass conferences that just take all your money and give you smoke and mirrors on how it is that they can help you, and then charge you an exorbitant amount of rate for no fucking reason. You know, these corporations that come together through these conferences make loads of money. And where does that money go? It doesn't go to help a social equity person. It doesn't go to help a mom and pop. It definitely doesn't go to help get somebody out of jail or pay for an attorney for their ass. You know, unfortunately. So yeah,
and it's a tax
the
write-off
turn up
for these
needs to
people,
get louder,
you know?
and that was advice from a former senator who actually wrote the cannabis bill in Illinois, Toy Hutchinson, who said the turn up needs to be a lot louder, because people need to understand on even louder what the hell is going on, and because it needs a fix, and it needs multiple fixes, time and time and time again.
There was another woman, I think she's from Be Blunt. Yeah. She has a podcast, Be Blunt, and I've watched.
She's in New York. She's dope as hell.
Yeah, so she was also saying, like, you need to fucking guilt these people, and that's what we've been saying.
Just shame them.
Shame them.
Public shaming works wonders.
Well, and you know, Lou from Connecticut, he's really, really good at that. He's also made a lot of enemies. But fuck it, me too.
Well, then to do that, that means you have to insulate yourself in such a way, you know, so that the progress on what it is that you're doing can be made before it is that they try to shut you down. So
let's talk about the beginning of true social equity in cannabis, the beginning of coming together, you know, Weed the People. You know, obviously you saw a need for what you do, so you started doing it. Nobody else is doing it. Yes, I do agree we could be louder. I'm here, you know, I can only go as loud as I can go, right? But I think what I really want to know, what would help me be louder, turn it up to 11, if you will. What have you learned since you've begun until now? What's one thing that you've learned?
I would say for me, not to be dependent on what it is that you're told.
Okay.
And what I mean by that is that the same way that we've been doing this for forever, we were radicals then. We still have to be radical, and it's okay. And then also to make sure that you can't just call yourself an activist if all you're doing is making a lot of noise. For me, I mean, I guess that's one aspect of it, right? But a true activist for me is somebody that also makes sure that the things that's happening on boots on the ground is also happening in the spaces and places where change actually occurs when we're talking about our legislation and our rights, right? And that's the whole point of activism, right? People always say, you know, that's not enough. Well, it's not enough because it's part of a whole. And when you're talking about the holistic aspect of it, and that's one space that I don't think I really understood in regards to the legalization part of it, because you're going up against big government, big tobacco, big pharma, right? And you don't think about that as someone that's just like, yo, I want to be in business and I don't want to continue looking over my shoulder or being arrested. I actually want to be able to go to a fucking bank and pay people. You know what I'm saying? And it's levels to this shit, but everywhere is needed. Don't be afraid to just do what you've been doing. Just insulate yourself. And if you don't know how to do that, it's a business. Tap in. You already doing it. You're just doing it not on paper. You know what I mean? Shit, there's a lot that was learned and still learning along this journey. Ultimately.
Welcome back.
So sorry.
You're all right. So what's
I'm
Anna,
just rambling.
you're right. I didn't want to cut you off because, you know, that's a big lesson to learn. That's a lot that you have learned. You know, it's more than just a sense of being. It's a sense of doing. You know, it's a sense of being for something. You know, if what do they say? If you don't stand for anything, you're fall for everything, or some shit like that. I don't know the exact euphemism or phrase or
You don't stand for
the adage,
something,
but you
fall
know,
for anything.
listen, I fell a lot more than I stood up. Okay, but the point is, I had to learn. All right, Anna, what's one thing that you've learned from the beginning of all of this till now?
I have to say I like panic when I get these questions about the one thing.
Yes, me too. Anxiety.
Sorry.
Oh my god, I'm like, oh my god, my anxiety just went like, let me get my joint ready, and then like,
well, if you're gonna throw me into the end of the world, I'm gonna give you a little bit of anxiety if you're gonna end the world. I'm just saying.
Oh my god, I'm so sorry. I try not to bring that up.
You're out. Hey, here we are.
I just want us to like be in the Star Trek world already, where we're all just like working for the better of mankind. And I know there is war in Star Trek, but like, I don't know that. Yeah. What have I learned? Shit, I just so much. Like,
right, exactly.
I'm making. Yeah, like I mean, I'm an artist, so like I'm making my first documentary, and that's really, 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 really hard, and I've learned a lot. Thanks. About that, and one of the things that I learned that I wish I would have learned 3 years ago, which is like fucking start editing your shit as it goes, because I have 3 years of footage. And I've tried to get as much out as possible on the page to like progress the conversation, but it's a lot of work.
It is.
And
when you're the story, the subject, as well as documenting what's happening, when you're doing all the hats like we do, it's just it's a lot.
And I wasn't a subject at first. I wasn't really a subject until like probably maybe 4 or 5 months in. And you're right, Vi, like once I felt like there were people that weren't saying what needed to be said.
Okay.
And I had to put my voice in there because my perspective was not being talked about. And I have a perspective of like my whole group too. So I was empowered by my group, my wife who's Hawaiian Chinese and from Hawaii and has her own legacy perspective, and my veteran on our group that has her legacy perspective. She's an OG and from Southside. And then my other 2 partners that are like in corporate, but also legacy and like, you know, so I felt empowered more to like keep pushing forward and speaking these things, and like having Vi and I align with what we were talking about, and we don't always align, which is great because that's why we can like build each other on that, you know, like step by step, like what y'all have been seeing. I don't know. I've learned that like politics are really fucked up, and that's why I stayed away from them all my life. I grew up in Texas, so I wasn't out when I was living in Texas, but I think I knew that I was queer, and so I never. And my mom was Democrat, and most of my other family was Republican. And whenever we brought up things at family functions that were about politics that were controversial, my mom would shut it down and and be like, "We're gonna leave if this is gonna happen." So I didn't really have a lot of interaction with politics growing up. And I really only started getting into it and getting involved because of cannabis 3 years ago. So I really hope that people hear that from me and say, shit, like, I haven't been involved, but maybe I should. Because I really feel like, and I'm an Aquarius, so I'm a dreamer, but dreams become realities when enough people dream them. Like
manifestations.
Manifestation. And Vi is all about that. So like, I really envision the world and our planet like being in a place of harmony. And we all need to come together and make that.
Listen, that's the thing. You know, words are spells, y'all. That's the truth. If you put it out there, you're gonna receive it. If you talk ill will about yourself, even in a jokingly way, you're gonna start to believe it over time. You know, I didn't mean to interrupt you, Vi, but ADD kicked in. Sorry, love.
No, you're totally fine. I was just gonna say when she was talking about the harmony.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, I had to get that smoke out.
Yeah, all right.
When she was talking about the harmony, that's naturally gonna happen. It's naturally happening. You just as people begin. Somebody asked me the other day. We were having a conversation about being woke, right? And how most people, when you hear that conversation, and they're like, "Stay woke." It's like that brand that you don't like to say, right? It has a meaningless meaning because most people just feel like it's about consciousness, but it's more than that. It's about aligning yourself to elevating in your ideology, in your reality, in your spirit, in your mind. It's a convoluted type of thing, and the world is going to naturally do that because the earth doesn't need us to do anything. That's the problem, is that we're all out here trying to make things happen. You know what I'm saying?
Let them happen.
When you align, they're going to naturally happen because it's going to be something positive that you want. Nobody wants to sit in hell.
I don't know about that. I ain't winning no Powerball. I'll tell you that right now. I ain't lying shit. I'm just kidding. No, you're absolutely right. I kid, but you're right.
It's because, and we haven't talked about this by in a while, but we normally do all the time, is like we all have trauma. So like to get aligned with ourselves is
you got to let it happen. You know, I won't lie to you. I've been abused, you know. There's a lot of trauma there. You know, my trauma's not worse than yours and vice versa. But at the same time, I went through this imposter syndrome thinking that I wasn't I didn't deserve good things or deserve good luck or didn't deserve good days. You know, that was the depression and the anxiety. You know, a lot of outside sources afflicting that and affecting that as well. But, you know, the truth is, it's not true. You do deserve good things to happen. You do deserve good luck. You do deserve good days, you know, because here's the truth. If you don't think that you deserve those, then all you're going to have is bad connotation to life. And then you're just going to have a one-sided life. You're going to think that, you know, you're not this small little speck in this wide, vast universe. You're going to start to figure out that on the, you know, federal level, on the controlled substances list, it's everything that cause euphoria, nothing that can actually kill you. So it's interesting. You know what I'm saying? Mercury's not on there, and that shit's toxic as fuck. You know what I'm saying?
And,
so
and they put it in our tea.
Yeah, ask questions, y'all. Ask motherfucking questions. You know?
I mean,
what have you learned, Rodney, along this journey that you've been in as well? I'd like to pose the question back to you, for sure. That one thing.
Or the first thing you think of, or like the second thing.
Or the mini, because
oh no, we lost
Mike. No, there she is. There she is. All right. So I was like, how are you gonna ask a question to bounce? Did she drop that mic, does she? I say this in the nicest way possible, but in the most insulting way possible, and you're gonna know exactly what I mean by this. People are stupid.
You said that before.
No, hang on. And that's the one thing that I don't mean that in a sense of an intellect type of thing. I mean that because when given the choice of, I want to say results, people get lied to constantly, because it's easier to believe. Right. Yeah. They'll look to you instead of asking questions about, okay, what's going on with my rights, cannabis, or you know, hey, this person said I should probably look out for proposal 3. Without looking into it yourself, you're just going to accept what the next person says to you, and then that's going to spread like wildfire. So people are stupid.
No,
a person can be smart.
I'm gonna push back on you because, especially because this is the second time I've heard you say this, because I interviewed you in Michigan, and I did not use that clip because I personally don't like using the word stupid. I have and I fucking hate this word, but I have trigger words that I have stopped using because I personally don't like them, or someone has expressed to me that they're triggering, and I'm quoting triggering. And I personally don't like stupid because I have dyslexia.
Okay.
I had to do third grade over. It's like one of my traumas that I constantly have to circle around. And I have always felt like I was stupid. I knew when I was in the third grade, I wouldn't be able to work at a corporation or like do anything normal, and I haven't. And even if I work for other companies, like I still start revolutions. So it's not just my dyslexia that is the issue. But like hearing the word stupid has always triggered me because I've always felt like I was stupid, and I still obviously do a little bit. Because people, when you spell something wrong, or like we all live in a world of text, not communication like this. So like you get judged.
Instant gratification, right?
Yeah, and like as someone who's not good at words, that's why on the page I mainly try to quote people. And please, if anyone sees any like spelling things, just tell me. Yeah, I don't know.
I have just a real quick question for you, if you don't mind. Listen, and I apologize if it's triggering to you, but to be honest with you, I had no idea till now.
And feel that all your life.
I can tell you this.
Like
I failed the 6th grade. I was held back as well. People treated me the exact same way. They looked at me and they saw, this kid who's just going to end up in the kitchen the rest of his life. I literally asked my mom at the end of high school, I was like, what college should I apply to? She was like, you just find a good kitchen and work there. I mean, mind you, that was actually solid advice, but I asked my mom why. She goes, you wouldn't do good in school. So to have your own mother treat you like that, I do empathize with you. I really do. And
our trauma is fucking school. Because school, thankfully, I went to some art schools. So, like, that's why I was able to get through fucking school as art school. Thank you very much.
But then again, I still ask the question, okay, before this conversation today, did I know that was a trigger word?
Understandably so. But I'm telling you that, like,
I know now. That's a different story. So from henceforth on, I won't agree with that. I will change my dialect.
Do you not feel that way at all, being someone who like was held back and had a similar experience? And I appreciate you asking me questions. I love it when we have conversations.
Listen, I mean, you can talk these things out. It's not an issue. If I know it's triggering, then I won't say it that way anymore to you, specifically or anything of that nature.
I would ask that you maybe like think of another way of talking about people, because
what if it's projection from my trauma from that said situation? What if the only way that I can get out of it is actually thinking that everybody else is stupid and holding myself out of it? You see what I'm saying? What if? So that's a very slippery slope. So, I mean, we won't argue the semantics or the straw man theory there or anything of that nature, okay? What we will say is trying to better ourselves for the future, will we not? That's my point. So I won't do that, and that's fine. But I'm allowed to think whatever I want. So don't try and change that.
Absolutely.
That's my point. Absolutely. So if you're going to push back, so am I, girl. That's what I'm saying. I know. All right?
And you can change your perception after this conversation or not.
And that's fine. But I'm not going to allow, the way that I heal from my trauma, as long as it's not affecting anybody else.
Well, that's the thing, that we all have to take the time to understand that everybody has trauma.
Exactly.
And trauma is different in different ways and different expressions.
And apparently everybody's internet connection is different too. But
and I hate that I just cried on this episode.
Okay. It's real.
Well, no, I hate it because Toy Hutchinson cried a lot yesterday at the event, and I was like, she cries at everything. Is this real? So now I'm
Emotions are real.
Now I'm that bitch.
No, you're not. And here's the thing. Again, I apologize that it's triggering for you. I do. But at the same time, one of the strongest things that's said to me, helping with that situation, because I got beat up a lot, believe it or not. I got fired a lot too, because I didn't agree with the status quo. I was like, this is fucked, and you're taking advantage of me, and you know this. Moving on. The way that we deal with our traumas is different, blah, blah, blah. That's not where I was going. The fact is there's a lot going on mentally that I put to the side for a lot of different people specifically. Again, I do apologize for your trauma and the trigger. However,
You don't need to.
I mean, I'll change the wording. That's fine. But the way that I think about it is going to be the exact same. I'm not going to lie to you.
Well, let's have a conversation
yeah.
about that, because like it's not just the word, it's the connotation, you know, because like
Right.
I believe that people can change. And so if they aren't,
If they want to.
absolutely.
That's my point.
But
so
we
they have a
can't
decision.
hear you. We can't hear you, Vi.
Yeah, you're muted, girl. Say something. Nope, you did it again.
Bonnie and her are just like, okay, let's talk trauma. I love it.
No, I was saying
There
that
it
was
is,
the whole point of him using that term, right? But that's more about what you're going through and your trauma for your own healing, that you
Correct.
had it, an expression of that, and how you had it in this
So-
moment. Him for his response, right? We all have
Right.
trauma, as we were
Right.
saying. But
Exactly.
beyond that, there's traumas within, and some of that gets brought out when you're dealing with traumas
Projection.
about things that are happening in your life that you're dealing with, like within the traumas of the cannabis space, right? That people have gone through just in having conversations in spaces like this.
It's real.
That to be a vulnerable moment, just that anybody was able to witness, right? But that's the realness, that the impact that people want to talk about, right? That goes even deeper than this moment.
It's
Or that moment that you just talked about, or even other moments, right? So yeah.
Someone told me once, and she couldn't see me as a patient, but I grew up with her. She became a therapist since high school. It's all she talked about. An amazing woman. For legal purposes, I won't mention her name, but she knows exactly who she is. How you doing? All right. Her and I used to talk a lot, and she told me, she goes, listen, at some point in this world of different people, you have to understand that your triggers are your own responsibility.
That part.
How you react to that based on something somebody else says, whether they know or not, that's on you. That's your accountability. If you can't control your fucking emotions, that's an issue. Okay, maybe learn to,
issue, but if however you express that, you own that,
right?
Because that was the choice that you made. You got to deal with that, whatever that might be, right?
Right.
And that's the journey of growing in life. We have been desensitized by the traumas that go on and how we express it, right? And have to care for it as we go through it.
Now,
right?
everything that's on the controlled substance list that creates euphoria at a federal level right now is used to create a euphoria instead of desensitize us. Y'all wake up.
So why do we even have a scheduling system in the first place?
That's a good goddamn question. That's why.
Control.
Why? I mean, is one worse than the other? Is one better? Is there a grade here?
We
should
need to get rid of it. Petition it. We've been talking about this for a few weeks. Let's just fucking do it.
But until then, smoke weed and do shrooms, y'all. You know what I'm saying? And talk about your shit. Like, that's the truth. Like, everybody's got on purpose.
You know what I'm saying?
There you go.
Deeper and elevate on your own before you're able to even talk about what's happening somewhere else, right? Because really, if we really got back to our communities and invested in our communities and in our fucking blocks where it is that we invest in and shop in as a whole, man, fuck this government. We don't need y'all.
Well,
we have to get together in a place to show you.
More so, we don't need you corporations.
Correct.
Like, we need to stop letting the corporations control the government, and we are feeding the beast.
Right.
With Amazon, and I just watched this Big Mouth episode, and at the end it was something about guilty, and it was like, yes, you should feel guilty about shopping at Amazon, and I'm like, yes.
I mean, and you should, but there are people that, they say that it's a necessary evil now. No, you just haven't looked for any alternatives. That's the truth of it, and
the truth of it is that where are the alternatives? That's the truth.
Yeah, but they haven't looked, is my point. They haven't made that decision. Right? Yeah.
But
buy local.
For the alternatives to occur,
right.
There's plenty of community, or not larger than community, multi-state businesses now that are mom and pop, that are already doing well, that still have the fucking struggle. You know what I'm saying?
I'll tell you this right now. I don't buy my
Just
chef
don't block
knives
us.
from a major maker anymore. I buy my knives made by hand from an artisan. Get a knife
You're also a
maker or
chef.
anything.
You're also a chef. So it goes
Fair
back
enough.
to mindset, right?
Yeah.
Not everybody understands that
Yeah.
art. That is an art,
Mhm.
right? There are different arts that people have and that people do, like that microphone that you're talking on,
Mhm.
right? All the way down to backgrounds, to editing, to
Mm-hmm.
just clothing, right? We limit ourselves in our understanding and our thinking so that then we can also let these corporations just take control, mind control. The fuck.
And you know, and then we use the power of influence and then branding and marketing that, you know, put it, if I flash it in front of you enough, you're gonna fucking accept it and move on. That's the unfortunate truth. But this, oh my God, Vi, Anna, this was a very amazing episode of the Daily Chronicles, y'all. Seriously, we're gonna have to circle back around this. I know that that's one of those stupid corporate ass terms, circle back around. But
life is chronicle.
we need to come back around to this. There's more to social equity, true social equity in cannabis, and we the people than I'm ever going to be able to cover in one day.
Not at all. Not at all.
That's just what you've done.
Just go to the channel, start at the beginning, and watch all of the videos. So it's just like a three-year saga in like one.
Of the ones you did edit.
Of the
ones you did
that
edit,
I did put online so far. Yeah.
All right. Well, Vi, and I appreciate y'all a lot. I really do. If you haven't, you know, checked them out now, check them out, or before, check them out now on Instagram at True Social Equity in Cannabis. There's a link tree that was in the beginning of the show. I'll throw it up again right here so you can see it, you know, stuff like that on Facebook.
Having us on.
But yeah, no, seriously, I was
Rodney.
Listen, you got me in Michigan. All right. You got the Weedsters here. I'm not going to turn it off, you know, to Latrish and Amy, those two girls right there. I know y'all know each other. How could trailblazers across the pond not know each other? You know what I'm saying? So, you know, hats off to you, but I got you back like a butt crack, y'all. Thanks for coming to the show. This has been an amazing episode of the Daily Chronicles.
That sounds like a place I don't know.
I'll see you on the fucking flip. Yeah. See you.